Hello, Tim Burnett here with the weekly test community update. A different one from me this week, as I'm going to be taking you on a little bit of a tour of some of the technology platforms and solutions that I've been playing with recently that I think are going to have a huge influence on where we go next with assessment and technology and AI and all those wonderful things that we're going in. Now, I'll tell you now, there is a slightly scary story that's kind of emerging from this, I suppose, this conversion. So I've always been a kind of great fan of the idea of convergence of technologies coming in to play, but there is a quite interesting one that kind of has everyone's fears kind of going a little bit with all this. But anyway, first of all, look, just a reminder, anything we talk about today is on the test community.network website. You can connect with me there as well. Don't also forget that we have the podcast It Depends that I do with Amanda Danis. Please do watch that. Amanda and I actually met up tonight. We got together and we talked about our kind of plans and ideas for upcoming conferences. This is rare, unique opportunity to get together in person, as we're both here for a conference. She also gave me this wonderful new t-shirt. So if you're listening on the podcast, make sure you check out the YouTube channel, check out my new podcast t-shirt for that. So quite excited about that. Other news then, just before we kind of get into some of the other updates, EATP is happening in Berlin. Fantastic conference. I'm very delighted I'll be presenting or chairing a couple of sessions in there, so it's worth coming along to. Last call really for registration, so that's 23rd to 25th of October. Really worth you attending if you want to keep your pulse on, finger on the pulse of what's happening within the assessment world. A little bit beyond that, a week after that, we've got the Beyond Multiple Choice Conference. So that's a free online event, 2 days for that one. That's in kind of US time, so it starts UK time about 2 o'clock, slightly later in the morning in the US. Sorry, early in the US. And then we've also got the FAB conference. That's the Federation of Awarding Bodies. They have a conference in Leicester in November. Now, I've been told that there's additional exhibitor opportunities lined up there. So anyone who knows, the venue's brilliant, but it's kind of hard to get all the exhibitors that want to be there in there. So what they've done is they've opened up a bar that's an area that's not been used before. They're going to put the reception desk in there, so it'll be driving traffic in there. So if you are an exhibitor that's looking to get a bit more exposure in the UK market, then please do check that out as well. Final update from this side of things then, we've got Innovations Conference Fast Pitch deadline is the 15th of November, so please make sure you add that to your diaries and get yourself submitted for that. As ever, subscribe to the Test Community Network. You get a free update coming through with some of these updates in your inbox, events and highlights and editors pick and choice for the podcast, the events and the marketplace. Looking at other events that are coming up soon, so we've got the 10th of October, we've got the Educational Assessment Groups. That's Dr. Mary Richardson's online virtual webinars. She was going to do it on the 9th, but she had to move it due to a clash, so really worth checking that out. We've got the 20th to 23rd Association of Financial Professionals. They're doing a virtual event. And the EF Vet Conference, that's to do with vocational educational technology or vocational training, I think it is. Worth checking that out as well. I'm going to put on a ticker here for other events that are taking place in the network. These are in-person conferences, and I'll leave that up there while I talk through the next bit. So I've not got a guest this week. It's been a very busy time, so I've not had a chance to arrange another fantastic guest. We've had some brilliant speakers previously. If you missed Nick's conversation last week, that was talking about the testing and assessment ecosystem, so integration, etc. There we had Manny talking about competency frameworks before then. We had Justin from Google, formerly Google, sorry, talking about the role of certification in really value testing cycles. So some really great content, and I'll be bringing some more up after we get through this kind of October peak season of conferences and events, as it's a very, very busy time. So I'm going to add to the stage. I'm going to talk you through some of the things what I'm thinking at the moment. So if you've not used it, this is Claude. Now it kind of comes up with the usual kind of chat interface, but they introduced this apps feature. So the idea that you could say to it, create me an app. And you'll see here, I've just typed in, create me a science simulator app with a burner, tripod and beaker, 50% full of water. As I turn up the heat on the burner, the temperature rises on the thermometer in the beaker. So it's just a simple app here you'll see that I've got, but I think this is kind of incredible, really, in the potential that you could, as an educator, just chat away with what kind of interactive you got. Now, this is quite a simple thing, but this technology is only going to get better and better, and you can improve with further chatting. This is kind of the first iteration it came out with, but you can chat then with it to elaborate and expand and add more features into it. So literally, you chat away, ask that question, and you end up with something else that you can then build on as a simulator. I'm going to show you some other kind of examples. This is something I've been doing with my son at school. He's got spellings to learn, and some of the parents were saying it's real difficulty, hard to try and get the kids to actually learn how to do the spelling. So we came up with this just a fun spelling quiz. So these are the spellings that they have to put in, and in this example here, they have to add the letters in, and it shows you the next letter and the letter after that, just to kind of get them thinking about how they're going to spell the word that's been set for them as part of the process. Really simple again, just added in the spellings and said, create me this spelling quiz, bit of chatting away to kind of to get it to build and elaborate on it. And now I can use it as a model where I can just swap out the spellings and put new ones in, and it all works fine and perfect. So share that with the parents. It's been a real hit. This is just a slightly more extended version. This is a little tool that I've built to just explain how from the training to storytelling, so from training of a large language model to how they work, and it just walks you through that process. So you've got the processing the data, the training the model, and what I've done in here is add in some interactive elements, so you can actually tweak and change and do some fine tuning with the model itself. So just a really simple way in which you can get across some quite complex things. And this was just created from chatting with Claude to create this example that I can then, this is public now, so I could share this URL out and people will be able to use and interact with this URL. Another quick example. So last week I did a webinar with Grade, and while we were talking, we were talking about kind of trends, etc. And I thought, I want to kind of elaborate a little bit more on what I'm going to say as part of this. So I took a quick bit of data that I had from the Test Community.Network. So all the events that I kind of gather up, I get a kind of sentiment as to what kind of topics that they're talking about. And I threw that into Claude and said, right, create me an interactive chart which showed and demonstrated and visualized this information. And it looked at the data and it provided this chart to show me where the peaks and troughs were in terms of the conversations that have been going on within the assessment space and the events. So just a really quite a powerful tool that is literally just chat away with to create some interesting exhibits. Here's just a slightly more engaged version. So this is Replit. This is a platform that I've been using. I have absolutely been blown away with this. So this is using the idea of agent-based developers. So a bit like what you've got with Claude in the fact that you're chatting away, but it's capable of doing slightly more complex and complicated development activity to the point where you could get a minimum viable product out from just chatting. No coding. I haven't done any coding to create this. So in a meeting earlier today, someone said, Drupal, I can't stand Drupal. Too many adverts in there, too much clutter in there. It's a really annoying tool. So I thought, I'm going to ask it to create. So you can see the kind of chat conversation here. So I put the initial create me an alternative version to the Doodlepole platform, and it went through a building cycle. And when, by 20 minutes into that meeting, I had this kind of version of a new polling platform. Now I need to extend it. I'll need to do some more work on it, because what will happen is the next stage, I'll get the options in place, and what won't work necessarily is the scheduling and sending out the emails or anything like that going forward. But it's just a great example of where this is all going, and the fact that someone without any technical experience, so this is the low code, no code space, you can do so much more with it. So if you're listening on the podcast, I really do recommend that you check out and look at this. This is just an extension of this. This is another version. This is voice chat. So this week, OpenAI released out some additional API access to developers, and one of those was real-time chat. So effectively, unlike with these new voice chat features, advanced voice chat features that are coming out from OpenAI, this is a slightly simpler version that they've made available. But whatever I was able to do here is to say, create me a voice chat tool that uses the OpenAI API. You can see where I tripped upon that one there. And okay, you might think, oh, that sounds a bit complicated, Tim. How do I get the OpenAI API? Well, that's quite simple. You just go to OpenAI API, sign up, put your credit card details in there, set yourself a limit. And you can see here, this is my usage limit for the month for my testing, playing around. So I have a $20 a month limit on it. And you can see where I've been spending. So I spent $1.30 in all my testing and playing with this. So this is quite cheap as chips activities for you here. But this then creates a tool that I could click, press and hold in, have a conversation with OpenAI, and it'll respond back. I'm not going to test it because I didn't test it before, but let's see if it's working, shall I? Hi, can you hear me? It's okay. See what happens?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I assist you today?
There you go. Okay, perfect. Great little tool. So you can see the usage in there. Just some other kind of updates and features that I think you would be interested in, some things that go in. So if you're not using Notebook LM, I really do strongly recommend that you do. It's a free app at the moment from Google, and it effectively works on this idea. It's a research tool. It's a what kind of RAG-based model where it's leveraging Gemini's large language model as a conversational tool, but it works solely on the information that you upload. So you can select up a whole host of sources in here. You can add in Google Docs, Google Slides, websites, YouTube. So this was a new feature they added in recently where you can actually connect it to a public YouTube video. And it takes the transcription from there, or you can paste and copy text. You can then use it to create yourself, let's say, a study guide in this case, and it will generate that study guide for you based on the information that's made available. So it'll take a few moments to kind of churn through that, and it will generate that out. The other feature, just while it's doing that, is the audio overview, which is, if you haven't heard these, this is just incredible. Have a listen to. There's a study guide that's popped up there now, so we've got a nice study guide that's purely based on the information that's available, and you can do further chatting. You can interrogate the information, and it will cite the resources within that. The audio overview.
All right, so you've been digging into all this AI and education stuff, and you've given us a ton to look at.
Yeah.
We've got
So hopefully
UNESCO,
you
we've
can
got
hear this.
OECD.
This is a kind of
We've even
lifelike
got
style
the US Department
podcast
of
between two
Education in the
people,
mix here.
really ultra realistic.
Plus, you've thrown in some
voices,
really interesting
purely
perspectives
based
from
on the
ELT
resources in there. So a
experts,
great
which,
way
for
to
anyone who doesn't
generate
speak acronym fluently, is
an
English
audio
language
based
speaking.
Right.
So
It sounds like we're going for
summary
like a
of the content
balanced
in there.
view on all this AI buzz, and I think that's the right way to go
What you can
about
also
it.
do, you can
Absolutely.
download it,
What's
and you can
actually
also share
happening,
those
and
Yeah.
audio
then
files
what
as
are
well.
like the real opportunities,
right.
and then of course thinking
Cool,
about
is that? Now, so that's some great stuff that's going on in that space. Video has been one that's been kind of, kicking around for a while. So Runway, if you've not played with Runway or Luma, recommend you play with those. They're great tools. A nice little technique for that actually is use the online Midjourney web interface. Midjourney was always a bit of a pain to use when it first came out. It's still not perfect, but it's getting better. But the idea that you could generate super high quality images in there, but then you could take those into Runway, and then you can animate those in Runway. So you can turn that still into a panning shot, a moving. You can elaborate it more in Runway to create a kind of 10-second moving clip from that. And then you can also lip sync audio. So if you use ultra realistic platforms like PlayHT or 11 Labs to create your audio scripts, you can then use that to lip sync in the video. You can also do that within Runway itself. But what I find is all these platforms, they're all good at something, but not perfect at everything. So you do have to kind of stack these tools together as you go through. Meta, though, Meta Movie, this is, I suppose this is released as a kind of next level, next generation. This is their version of a video-based AI production tool. Fascinating quality. It's not out there yet. It's a bit like Sora. We've kind of seen Sora being shared out by OpenAI, but we've not had our hands on it just yet. So some great things, I think, to come with video, and it's worth keeping an eye on those. Now for the scary bit. this is a little bit disturbing, this bit. So you might remember on LinkedIn, if you follow me on there, things like I talked about a year or so ago, actually, it was about PIMIs. So this is an ultra accurate way of finding people by their face. So if you take a photo of someone, you do a search through PIMIs through their paid subscription model, it will trawl through all sorts of social media platforms and places, and will find further images of you and locations for those images. So you can effectively track someone down just by one still. Now, that itself is a little bit disturbing. Combine it then with a piece of work that a couple of Harvard students have done, where they combined it with the Meta glasses. These are commercially available. Buy them from Amazon. Meta glasses, they have a camera and a light in the frame here, and then just in the stem of the arms of the glasses, you've got audio, so you can hear, and you can chat with the Llama model, LLM, large language model. You can have conversational chat with that, so you can say, take a picture of what I'm looking at. Can you tell me what the weather is in where I am today? Anything like that. But what these two guys did was
built glasses that let you identify anybody on the street.
Basically built these glasses so that it can use the camera within the glasses to see people on the street and then do a quick instant search and give you information about that person. So finding people, finding information there. So I think this is a kind of very significantly kind of worrying side of where we're going with some of this technology, and something that I would be in favor of regulation. Other areas I kind of want the kind of things to be reasonably loose and allow us to innovate, but this is the one that kind of scares me the most. So the idea here, I'm going up to this lady here, and it's now searching and finding information. Now, it all seems legit in terms of the work that they're doing and what they've found. They've not said that whether or not, they've not shared the code for it, but they've shared some tools, and they talk about it being raising awareness of it. Whether it's simulated or not, I don't know. But that it's the fact that you've got PIMIs, you've got glasses that have cameras in them. It's very different from if you're walking around with the phone filming everyone and doing stuff. That's quite an obvious process, but the fact that these things are kind of hidden away does make it a little bit more concerning. Anyway, on a lighter note, don't forget, got the marketplace with Test Community.Network. Please do check that out. Lots of platforms and technologies and reports and data and information on there. It kind of goes on. I think there's about 800 or so records on there now. So a huge database of resources that are building up for you. Companies that are providing assessment technology platforms, etc. If you are a company that provides that, make sure your profile is up to date. Get in contact with me if you can't do that yourself, and I will help and assist. So hopefully you found that useful today. I thought it was a bit different. I thought I'd kind of share a few things with you. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. So take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.